Hey, what is up everyone? We're back with another Sea of Thieves comic reading, and in this video we're looking at the Sea of Thieves Origins Champion of Souls issue number 2. So if you missed it, we did issue number 1. Whenever that video is published, I don't really know because I'm recording these all in advance, but I'll leave that link so y'all can go take a look at that if you haven't already. But let's go ahead and get into this one. This one, I really like the cover of it. I think this is probably my favorite cover out of the 3 for this story arc. And I just think it looks really cool with Madame Olivia in the back, kind of looking like she's almost possessing Pendragon. So I'm very interested to see what happens in this issue here. So let's go ahead and get into it. When one studies the stories of my life, it may seem that a piece is missing. For, admittedly, my life has known no great romance, and my heart has longed for little except for adventure. Truth be told, it has been difficult for any woman to be impressive enough to draw my attention from the quest. At last, the great Sir Pendragon visits the Order of Souls. But there was one that had my attention immediately. Should I take it then that you're Madame Olivia? The very same. I beseech you, good knight. Relax and imbibe with me. The tea is just as you like it. My dear madam, how would you know how I take my tea? I do not recall meeting you before, and I do not believe I could have forgotten. You make quite the impression. I have seen it. You are correct that we have not inhabited the same space and time, but I know quite a lot about you, Pendragon. It is perfect. I have never had finer. But I am afraid you have me at a disadvantage. As much as you know about me, all I have of you is a name, and the fact that your sisters came to me to say you are in need of a champion. What manner of champion do you seek? An insightful question. I would expect no less. You see, I am the leader of the Order of Souls, a trading company of a sort on the Sea of Thieves. It would seem that you and I share a common foe. I would dare to conjecture that you have seen ghastly creatures such as this. Skellies? They've been the scourge of many an outpost of late. It's my aim to grind their cursed bones to dust. Excellent. Then I propose a partnership, for as valiant as you may be, you know nothing of their plans and movements. Whereas myself and my sisters, we would provide you with the locations of the most harrowing of their captains that you might rid us of this scourge. How would you obtain such information? Just so. You can extract their souls? Their memories? Yes, when I hold their skulls in my hand. But what I lack is the strength and valor to hunt the most dreadful captains and remove their souls from their cursed bones. This is why I need a champion. Madam, I know not how I can extract their souls, but I would be your champion. Give me the means, and I shall rid us of this scourge. I'd hoped that you would say as much, and I have rather unusual means at my disposal. I have worked tirelessly with the finest weaponsmiths on the seas to create this blade. I call it the Sword of Souls. This sword has the ability to free a trapped soul with the touch of its blade. It has many uses, but against the undead it is a tool of incredible might. I think you shall find that even skeleton captains can have their souls pulled from them at the end of the sword, though you may find that this takes quite a toll on you as well. Astonishing. So, where do I start? It was a beautiful arrangement. Madame Olivia would tell me where some vile skeleton captain could be found, and I would set off to rid the sea of the Scourge and his crew. With the Sword of Souls, defeating the average skelly was a simple matter, and I defeated many. Soon I found the dreaded captains of which Olivia had warned me. They greatly tested my mettle. They fell beneath the Sword of Souls as well. Though it was not without its price, releasing the stronger souls drained my own strength. And from every pirate captain that fell, a gift from my employer was left behind. Madame Olivia, the skull of the vile captain's hedges. Excellently done, my champion. Your next quarrel shall become known to us shortly. The malodorous murderer Captain El Eden rests in the underwater caverns west of Keyhole Fort. You must end his reign of terror. It will be done. Naturally, it is a simple thing to say that one will journey to an underwater cavern to find the secret lair of a hidden skeleton lord. But doing such a thing is more difficult than saying it, even for the Champion of Souls. but I have always been the sort to find motivation in difficulty. The difficulty I did not expect was a seemingly excess of underwater caverns, and no indication of how I might know them when I saw it. But I have always found that what separates a great man from a good man is the ability to take decisive action, so I did just that. I am not certain how long I swam, but it seemed like hours. The cavern yawned ever darker and deeper. It became clear to me that I had taken the wrong tunnel, but such creatures I narrowly avoided that the way back seemed more dangerous than forward. I was sure my air would fail me at any time, but somehow I persisted. Instead, it was my muscles that began to fail me. I felt my strength beginning to fade. I will admit that I am unclear on what happened next, except to say I was certain my demise was imminent as my eyes began to close and the abyss yawned below me. And for some time, I know not how long, there was only darkness. Until I was awakened by the familiar feeling of falling, just as one suddenly starting from a dream. But unlike those woken dreamers, I did not have the good fortune to wake in a warm bed. It seemed I had fallen onto some manner of ship. But the helmsman was no average sailor. I felt somehow that I knew him. "Pardon me, good sir, I seem to be lost. What vessel is this?" "You approach that looks like me, and you do not guess. This is the Ferry of the Damned. You have traveled beyond the mortal realm. You have shuffled off your mortal coil." "It cannot be. I have work left to be done." "Your kind so often do. They all come here eventually, except those poor souls who remain trapped." "But that is my task. I am the champion of souls. It is my duty to release the souls of undead villains yet clinging to the world." "This sword, I know it. I wonder, would this be the weapon that could allow me to lay down my burden? Not today. It would seem that you and I are allies. After a fashion, yet you have not reached your potential as champion." "What do you mean, stranger? I have slain every skelly before me. If you wish to earn your title, you would seek to free the tortured innocent souls beyond my reach, not simply fight skeletons. How might I do this?" "You must find a lantern in your world, like the one I possess here. Bring it to me, and I will light it for you. In its light, you shall see the last moments of trapped souls, allowing you to release them." "How do I return to my world?" "You must take that door." "But wait, how will I return with the lantern, ferryman? Ferryman! Ferryman?" And all at once, I returned to the land of the living, and I felt surer of my destiny than ever. When I told Madame Olivia of my encounter and my task, I was sure she would think me mad. But instead she presented me with a map, one with an island which I had never seen before. On the island I found a crypt, one the skellies made clear they didn't want me in. Always a sign that I am on the right path. Finding the correct tomb was a simple matter of deduction as well. Inside was the prize I sought, though not lit. I knew exactly what was required of me, but it was the most difficult part of my journey. And I was back on that familiar strange ship. Now, take the lantern and light it in the Well of Fates. I cannot convey to you what I saw in that well, except to say that it was indescribable. Yet, I shall always see it in my mind. I remember in that moment thinking myself Prometheus. Perhaps I should have considered his fate, but I had too much hubris for that. Now go, champion of souls, and free those who are beyond my aid. And with those words ringing in my ear, I set out to become the greatest hero the Sea of Thieves had ever seen. I began with ruins, scenes of once great battles, where I found many of spirits still cursing their tragic end decades after they had passed. And finally I was able to give them peace, and doing so only motivated me to redouble my efforts. Naturally, this course of events led me to seek greater, larger quarry, and find it I did. Or perhaps it's more accurate to say that it found me. Have at thee. The beast taught me that my battles with the undead were no promise of victory against the very living. I barely escaped with my life, and I realized that Had the Black Witch fallen, the sword and the lantern would be lost to the world. A single champion was no longer enough. I would need a crew. Madame Olivia, I do not understand. I told you I sought shipmates. Why do we sit here? Have some faith, champion. I discovered you, did I not? Excuse me. Are you Sir Arthur Pendragon? My name is Anna Cavendish? How did you find me? How I recognized her from the old photo her father had given me, I'll never know. Or perhaps I already know. Find you? I received a letter from a strange old woman saying that you were waiting for me here. I don't know you, but she said that you would offer me a job. That I will, and I fear I have much more to tell you. I had hardly finished speaking with Anna when Dunn and Rodriguez approached me with letters just like hers, and they were immediately the finest crew I'd ever employed. We freed souls and hit those skellies where it hurt. None of their hoarded gold was safe. Anna was the most notable surprise of the bunch. I had only ever seen the image of a tiny girl that her father had carried. The woman she had become was as fierce a pirate as any on the Sea of Thieves. For the first time, I felt something I had never felt. Not romantic love, but love nonetheless. Perhaps the same pride her father might have felt had he been there. Or perhaps the knowledge that, should I not be able to continue the fight, I had a worthy successor. Commodore Hockaday once had this saying about the strange things he encountered: when man plans, God laughs. But I refuse to believe in a God that would create Graymarrow. Beg for mercy. He would make them beg, but he didn't know the meaning of the word mercy. My God, those poor people. He has to be stopped. If you face him, you may not return. If I didn't face him, I would not wish to return. He has a whole fleet of ships. How can we face him? It is time to recall old allies. We drove skeletons from these islands once, we'll do it again. Captain! 2 more of ours just went down! Hold tight, first mate. Graymarrow is nearly in our grasp. His fleet has taken even more damage than ours. Fire! 2 hits, Captain. It's sinking. He's defenseless, Dunn. Steer us to Graymarrow. Captain, he's attempting to avoid us. He's not even firing on us. He's too arrogant, Anna. That is why he'll lose. One of us was too arrogant that day, but I'm afraid it wasn't Graymarrow. For all my experience with the supernatural, I never expected him to unleash such power. Hold fast, crew! Anna! Captain! I never wanted to live forever. I always feared that if a man lived long enough, he would have to suffer seeing all of his work come to nothing. And there in the wreck of the Black Witch, having failed in my duty as the champion and in the promise to Cavendish, I believed my last thought would be, I lived too long. Bring me to his ship. I had no idea what that truly meant. To be continued. So with that covers the second part of this 3-part story with Pendragon. And in the first issue we saw him gain the Black Witch, and this one we now see how the Black Witch ended up shipwrecked in Shipwreck Bay. So I'm very curious what we'll see in the final part of this story arc. Probably to see how he turns into the ghost that we end up meeting at the Black Witch in the Tall Tales and stuff. But if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you thought about this issue and what you're hoping is covered in the final part of this story. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye y'all.